Hey guys, how's it going? It's Noah here. We're just gonna be running over stabilization today. This is a bit of a tutorial for After Effects for some of you guys who are just getting into it. The first thing I'll get you to do is fire up After Effects. We're gonna be using this free clip pack that I'm actually gonna be releasing as well in the server, so stay tuned for that. I'm just gonna be showing you guys how to stabilize a few of these clips. Once they're stabilized, I'll take the rest of them. Like, I'll just show you a few today, and then I'll take the rest of them, stabilize them, put them in a folder, and we'll get those in the free clips folder on the server there, so you guys will be able to download them. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is kind of how to import the clips if you're new to After Effects. When you open it up here, it'll say open new project, something along those lines. You can just hit new project. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna switch my layout. First of all, it's not gonna look like this when you open it up. Shout out to Oliver for this layout. It's really good for editing reels, just because you got this big screen on the side. We'll have to figure something out. Drop you guys the tutorial on how to get a workspace like this, or you can design it yourself. So what I'm gonna just do real quick is hop back to a default layout. This is what your guys' screen will look like most likely. So you'll hit new composition. For this example, we'll just name it tutorial. Then you want to set your width and height of your composition. So these clips are gonna be in, well, I've recorded them in 1920 by 1080 just because that's how cameras work. If you rotate a camera 90 degrees, it's still gonna be 1920 by 1080. You have to rotate it afterwards, but we want our final product to be in a 1080 by 1920 sequence. So that would be a vertical footage, right? So we're gonna set it to 1080 by 1920. Frame rate is dependent on what you recorded your clips in. However, I would always recommend, if you record in 60, to edit in half of what you record in, because it's going to be extremely stressful on your PC to be editing something like that in 60 FPS. So for this example, the clips are in 60 FPS. I'm going to record them in 29.97. For the duration, it really just depends. If you want a 30-second edit, I say make the duration of your entire composition 1 minute, and I'll show you why in just a second. For this tutorial, it's going to be quite a few clips, so I'll leave it at the 2 minutes. So everything's good here. I'll just hit OK. You can zoom out a little bit, and you'll see that it is that vertical footage like I was talking to you about. The duration was right here, so this is 2 minutes all the way at the end. And if you're doing a 30-second edit, let's say you import all of your clips, you're going to want like that extra 30 seconds of space. It's completely preference. That's just kind of how I like to run it. So the first thing you're going to do to get all the footage in is you're going to click File up here at the top. You're going to go Import. For this example, we'll do multiple files just because we're doing an entire like set. You got to find your files now. So for me, those files are just on my desktop in the free clip pack, and I'm going to select all of them. Import, let that do its thing. Okay guys, once you get all your footage imported like that, you're gonna have it all on your left side here. So you can, if you double left click on one, it's gonna bring up this footage layer up here, which is just like a preview window of the clip. But like I was saying, since these were recorded on a camera that was rotated vertically, it still thinks that this is horizontal footage. So when I'm previewing my clips, a little trick I like to do is I go layer, new, adjustment layer. You're going to get something right down here. You're going to go up to your effects and presets, type in transform. You can drag and drop that right there. And just take the rotation. Well, first actually bring a clip in. So if you can't find your clips after, because it'll be a transform effect control up here, just click this drop down arrow. You can select your project again. All your clips are back. Let's just take this first clip here for an example. We're going to mute it. And then we're going to go back to the adjustment layer here. Go to the effect controls. And either 90 degrees or negative 90 degrees. So 90 puts it upside down. So negative 90 degrees would make it right side up. So now you can kind of preview the footage. And since this is an adjustment layer, let's just go back to the project here. It doesn't matter which clip you bring in. It's always going to be rotated, right? If I turned off the adjustment layer so you can't see it, it's like that. Now it's like this. However, I wouldn't recommend when you're actually editing to use this adjustment layer. It's easier to actually just rotate the clip. If you're ever doing any adjustments to it, I would just recommend changing the clip But for preview sake, it's totally fine to have this adjustment layer just so you can check it quick and they're like, okay, it's this clip, let's delete it, I don't want to use it, right? You can switch back and forth. Next thing you're going to want to do to be easier on your computer is set the quality to third. So if you look closely, when I switch it between, it's going to get a lot more pixelated, and that pixelated is going to make it a lot easier on your computer to render while you're editing. So that being said, let's choose our first clip here and let me show you guys how to stabilize them. Okay guys, so I've decided to choose this wheel clip that I recorded. If you play it back here, you can see it is a little bit wobbly. Here, I'll play it in full for you guys. You can see it kind of slow, kind of bounces left to right a little bit here and there. In order to kind of fix this, we use a stabilization method so that way, which I'll teach you guys in another tutorial this time, remapping, but pretty much if you speed the clip up, watch how jittery it becomes. Like now you can really start to see the shakes. If I go double that speed even and you watch this back, it's going to be really shaky, right? And that's not what we want when we're editing. We want nice, smooth, clean footage. So in order to achieve that, what we like to do is called stabilization. There's an effect for it in After Effects. If you go to your tracker, which I seem to have gotten rid of, if you don't have this window down here, this tracker window, let me just put it up at the top here. If you don't have this tracker window, the way to get it is you just go to window, select the tracker window, and it'll pull it up here. If you're missing any of these, the effects presets, anything like the character, so like for text, if you're missing content aware, anything, you just go in here, click it, you can drag it, put it wherever you want. So for this tutorial, we're going to be using the stabilized motion feature right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this above my adjustment layer so that the adjustment layer isn't affecting it anymore. I'm going to click down on my clip. I'm going to click down on transform. I'm going to set this to -90. Now that our clip is vertical, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the clip. I'm going to hit right click on my mouse. I'm going to hit pre-compose and move all attributes to the new composition. You can keep this selected if you want. It's just going to cut the pre-comp down to the same size as the clip. Just going to hit OK now. Alright guys, so what you're going to do once you get this clip pre-composed is we're going to cut the clip now so that it's the duration that we want and we don't have a bunch of extra hanging off the side. So let's see here. If I zoom in, or sorry, I guess if I'll just leave it how it is, never mind. If I move forward a little bit, you see this first frame where the wheel isn't quite in the center as well, and the camera kind of moves towards it first, like it moves backwards then forwards. I'm just going to cut that out because it's kind of unnecessary for the clip. So how we do that is we can go, if you hit page down on your keyboard, or if you're on Mac, I believe it's like the special key, like the FN key, and then you click page down, or arrow key, then you're going to hit it down a few times until you kind of get to the spot where you want the clip to start, or you can just drag the slider. So for this, I'll just drag the slider. So I see the movement starts here. Now I'm going to cut the clip, so you can do that two ways. You can drag this, or you can hit, for Windows, you hit Alt on your keyboard, and then you hit open left square bracket. So you know the square bracket, you hold Alt, and you click the one that's kind of a U facing the right side, and it'll cut to this side. I'll just put it on screen there, the key, because I don't know how to explain it. But once you've got that clipped, you're going to go to the end, find where you want the clip to end. So you see how it pulls away from the camera here? We don't want that. We're just going to go to the end of the motion, which is right here. I'm going to just hit the shortcut for that. Now we have our clip, and it is lined up to the amount that we want. So in order to actually stabilize this clip, we're going to go up and hit the stabilize motion button under our tracker panel. Hit stabilize motion here. We're going to zoom in. This box here is how the After Effects kind of tracks points. So what you're going to do is go back to your composition quick. When you hit the stabilize thing, it'll pull up a new layer. So you're going to go back. You're going to hit full quality, because full quality is going to give you the best pixels to track. You're going to take your little square tool. Use your little hand if you need. That's up here. That just pretty much moves the comp around so that you can kind of see your object better. Go back to your triangle, and now we're going to select a point that stays consistent in size and color throughout majority of the clip. You can use almost anything when you're doing this. For this example, let's try this little hole here and just kind of see how it comes out. So you want to make the inner box the size of the object, and then this box is going to scan the next frame of where this appears. So if we hit the one frame forward button here on our tracker, it'll analyze one frame forward for us. Looks like it stayed on target, which is good. Again and again, looks like it's doing a pretty good job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play now and let it run its course. Alright guys, so as you can see here, our tracker actually kind of bugged out in the middle somewhere. I'm guessing it grabbed a hold of, well, it looks like it grabbed a hold of this pixel. So sometimes the tracker's going to do some weird things. In this case, it looks like it grabbed on to this pixel, which must have been a similar color to this pixel, and it was in the box. So what we're going to do is we're just going to undo what we just did there. And I'm going to make this box a little bit smaller so that this isn't in the area. And I'm just going to hit play again. And now it shouldn't scan any pixels from over there. Alright guys, so it looks like it happened again. This is kind of one of the amazing things about the tracker. It grabbed a pixel over here. So we're going to undo one more time. I'm going to make this even a little bit smaller, and we're going to one more time here. Alright guys, it can be a little bit finicky sometimes. You're going to have to adjust this lots, but once you get it right, you're going to have a nice, smooth, stable clip. So it looks like we got a good track now. It kind of tracked that hole. You can see if I go backwards in time here, it tracked the little hole there the entire time now on the wheel. So the next step to actually stabilizing this clip is you're going to hit apply, X and Y. You're going to make sure that's selected and hit OK. What that just did is the camera is now, or the position now is going to be mapped to that tiny hole on the wheel for the entirety of the clip. So if I play this now, you can see this clip is very smooth now. You can see the little black bars on the side. That's the After Effects auto adjusting to where the position of this frame needs to be in order to have that in the direct center the entire time. To get rid of those, what you can do, those black bars, what you can do is you can hit your drop down here. You can close motion trackers. You can hit the transform drop down. You can hit your scale up a little bit. You can position it down, maybe scale it up a little bit more for this clip. And you can kind of center it in the frame what you think looks best. So the center cap's kind of in the middle of the frame now. I like that. If I hit play now, you can see this is a nice smooth shot of the wheel. Stays right in the center of the frame and it's nice and smooth. One of the ways that I would go about kind of fixing this a little bit further if your clip is still a little bit wonky is you can hit the, well, first what we're going to do is we're going to take our, since this layer has a stabilized motion on it now, we're going to right click, we're going to hit pre-compose again and select OK to those same settings. That way we can actually select our warp stabilizer on top of it. What you're going to want to do, I learned these settings, shout out to Exact in the server. We're going to set this to 30% motion or 30% smoothness. And set this warp to position, scale, and rotation. It's going to run its course on all of these frames here, and it should hopefully give us a little bit of a smoother feel. Okay guys, so it looks like our warp stabilizer is just finished up here. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to run this clip back and kind of see how it looks. So it's looking way smoother now. With it sped up, you can see it is smooth and it is in the center. However, there is still a little bit of wobble left and right there and up and down. That's just from the camera movement. If I go back in and hit warp stabilizer, just make sure that the effect is turned on and play it back for you guys. You're going to see that the clip is, once it renders here, you're going to see that the clip is much more stable now with the warp stabilizer. Still a little bit of motion there. I mean, that's just due to my filming, unfortunately, but you kind of learn as you go. Now, this clip is, I would say, good for editing. One other thing that you can do is with the speed remapping or time remapping, which I'm going to show you guys a lot more in the future. Adjusting these values will actually change the look of your comp a lot. Some of you may already know how to use these graphs. It's gonna kind of get rid of that jiggly motion because you don't really want those slow pans anyways. You're gonna have a lot of speed ramping. So now if I play it back, it looks kind of all right. That's just due to the clip quality though, and this is probably as much as I would say we can save this one. Looks all right though. Look good in an edit. Add a couple effects to it. Yeah. All right, guys. Now that we have the first clip stabilized, I'll show you guys one more example, and then I'm gonna get all of these clips stabilized for you and put it into a folder so you guys can start editing them. So let's go ahead. We just stabilized the wheel there. Let me choose a different one. Let's do this clip here. I used this one at the beginning of one of my videos that you guys might have seen. So let's drag it up above the adjustment layer again. You guys know the drill by now. You can also select this layer, hit R on your keyboard, and it'll bring up the rotation just as a shortcut. You just select this value. Let's set it to -90 again. Now the clip is upright. Make sure that we're editing in thirds so that our computer doesn't explode. And we're going to find the selected amount of video that we want to use. So I'm going to go... probably about here is where I want the video to start. You kind of got to plan ahead of where you want to track. Make sure your audio's off. You want to plan where you want to track. So for this example, I guess since the track point needs to be visible for all of the tracking to work, and you see that and you want the object to stay relatively in the middle, we're going to use this as a track point, this blinker. So if we look back, we won't be able to use any of this footage just because the blinker's not there. But I would say probably from here where the blinker's in the middle of the screen, we're going to hold Alt, open bracket to cut that. And then we're going to go to the end of the clip where we want it to end. You see it kind of like looks away to the side here. So we'll just go right here where the clip kind of starts. And then we're going to hit the pre-compose on this layer. That way it sends in our new changes, which is the length of the clip and the rotation. You know the drill by now. You select the clip, you're going to hit stabilize motion. Make sure you go back up here and set this to full. Select your motion track layer again, or your stabilize motion layer. And we're going to select that point now that we wanted to track. So we're going to move this, and let's do this like orange part of the light just because it's a different color than everything. The more out of place your object of tracking is, the better the tracker will work. So let's go to the beginning of the clip first because I forgot to do that, and go like that. Let's hit 1 frame forward. Looks like it tracked. Another frame. Looks like it's doing a pretty good job. I'm just kind of spam clicking to see if we have any huge movements. It looks like it's kind of shifting down. One thing we can do, well, let me just run it quick and see what happens. Yeah, it looks like he kind of bugged out a little bit there. I'm going to go back. I'm going to redo this tracking window again, just because it didn't exactly work the way I wanted it to. Let's shrink this even more and bring it right here, and then shrink this box as well a little bit. Let's hit play on that. See how it kind of comes out. Looks like it's doing a better job. You can hit pause at any time. I wouldn't recommend moving this, though, if it jumps out of place, because you'll get these weird glitchy movements. You want the track to be good the whole time. The thing you can change though is the size of this. You just don't want to move it left, right, up, or down. So let's hit frame by frame. Looks like it's doing a decent job again. Looks like it's still in the middle, It's about halfway done now. There's a little bit of jittering. Sometimes it turns out okay still. Looks like we're kind of losing that color now. That's the only problem. We're gonna hit play again and just kind of see how this track comes out. It looks like it's staying in a relatively close spot. Oh, we had a jump there. Let's go back and try and prevent that little jump. Let's make this a little bit bigger. You got to just kind of play around with this until you get a good one, but now it's tracking way more stable. Looks like we're jumping a little bit. Nothing crazy though. We're about to see another thing I might try is tracking this entire headlight. So we're gonna hit the apply X and Y, and we're just gonna watch for those like little micro jitters that it was showing in the track there. So I play this back, we kind of zoom in. You can see it actually did an alright job. Maybe a little jump there at the end, you saw a little jiggle. It shifted left to right there. What I'll do is I'll rerun this track, I'll come back, and So what I'll do with this one is I'm going to rerun the track until I get it right, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like afterwards. Alright guys, so I ran a different track on this like bulb right here, this different headlight, and it ran way smoother. So I'm just gonna hit apply, hit OK. And let's watch this back now. It should be a lot smoother than that first track. Yeah, you can see that this is, you can see the black bar is still hovering. I haven't adjusted that yet, but it is tracked directly to this headlight. You can see that black bar pulling in. That's just kind of what happens when you have an object that's moving out of the center of the frame a lot, because the tracker's going to try to keep it in. So you have two options. What I'm going to do to keep this simple is I'll go to like about here, and I'm actually just going to cut the clip. I'll cut off that end. You can use a method of scaling in or shifting the clip to the right. An example would be like, if I keyframed a position here and moved it to the left or something, and then kind of keeps that in the middle still, it's like an alternative way. So maybe actually for this example, we'll do that. I'll show you how I did that really quick. I went to right before the black bar started moving. I just hit P on my keyboard. That will bring up the position right here. I hit the keyframe button on the left, or sorry, I hit the stopwatch button first. Then I hit the keyframe button on the left to keyframe it where the position is right now. I'm going to go to the end where the black bars are showing, and I'm just going to move the scale over to where I want it to close. So now if I watch that back, the scale is going to start the position is going to start moving as that camera's moving, if that makes sense. So it actually does end up keeping it in position. There's a little bit of a change there, but looks pretty good. What I'll do now is I'll do our little drop down. I'll zoom the scale in a little bit as well to get rid of those black bars throughout the clip. Now it looks like we have a pretty good track on that headlight, and it is nice and smooth. I don't think this one will need a warp stabilizer, just because with these push-pull shots, usually they're a little bit more less up and down, less left and right. It's just simpler. When you're doing those pan shots, like the wheel one going around something, it's a little more difficult, but this one's looking good. So I'm going to do a few more tweaks to it just with this before I get it uploaded, just because I don't want you guys to have to deal with that kind of shift in position that it's doing. Might ease the keyframe and see how it does. There we go. Looks a lot smoother. Perfect. Okay, and that'll be all for today, guys. We're just doing short tutorials for now. I don't know how long this video is going to come out to be, but like I said, all of these clips, there's going to be about 18 of them that I'll have pre-stabilized for you guys. I'll have them in a folder uploaded by today, which is Tuesday, so they'll be up there in the free clips folder. If you're seeing this video on YouTube and not on the server, make sure to go check it out. We're in the call almost every single day, editing live. We welcome anybody to join. We're trying to teach people how to edit, so make sure to, yeah, you can be experienced too. I mean, bring what you have to the table. We'll help you where we can, and I mean, hopefully you can help us sometimes too. I mean, that would be appreciative. But go check out the description. Make sure to join the Discord. Make sure to, yeah, get active in there. Say hello to everybody. Super nice community. And yeah, hope to see you guys soon. See ya.